What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, and today we are talking some sports today. And I will say, it has been a very interesting last few days. I mean, story after story has dropped. I mean, my list of things to talk about has never been this long for a show. I mean, even with us, not doing last week, even the stuff I had from last week, it was only like a couple, like maybe 2 or 3 things. Dude, I got like 12 topics on here. All of it's all juicy. Like I couldn't pick one topic or just a few. I mean, it's so many, man. But our main one, what the people came to see, because we got to give the people what they want. We got to talk about Urban Wild Boy Myers. Man, we got to talk about this guy, man. But Miss Reid, before we get into that, how are you feeling today?
Hey, I'm feeling good, man. I think I'm covering something like Love and Hip Hop, or one of these reality shows or something, man. Like I'm covering Stevie J or something.
Oh,
And what was her name? I can't think of her name.
Jocelyn,
Jocelyn.
Stevie. I can't believe you, Stevie. Yeah, that's what this is like. This is like a reality show, man. I know when the story first broke, like I was like, there's no way that this guy is this dumb. I was like, there's no way. And upon further review, seeing more stuff come out, I was like, I think you can make an argument that he may have done this on purpose because I said it like that because if he did that like he was very comfortable. Yeah. Like he's done it before. Like he's been in there in his own restaurant with people around in public with young girls, and he's done it before. That's how comfortable he was. Granted, this man was zooted. I don't know what he was on. I'm sure he doesn't want to take a blood test to test what he was on because I'm sure it's gonna come back with all type of stuff on the list. But that's just how he looked. He had that look like no idea was a bad idea. I know that look. But to argument that he did this on purpose is because I would expect more if he was like, say he was reckless. He's been on college campuses, the last 30 years?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you should hear more stuff. I should hear more young ladies come out and say, hey, he did this to me. He did that. He was here. He was there. He did this. But that lets me know that he does it, but he's very careful. He ties up loose ends. Whoever he messes with is somebody who he knows. It's not random that he don't know or something like that. He's been very careful. He's been very careful for a long time up until this point. Why now? You're at the pinnacle of your sport and you choose now to go public with your mistress. Like I don't understand that. I don't understand that, but I'll let you go ahead.
Man, let me tell you something, I mean, it's almost, let's just break it down. I mean, these guys played in Cincinnati a week ago tonight. I mean, a week ago Thursday. They lost the game. So the first mistake he made, and I don't know about you, but being around sports, played in sports, it's very unusual, and particularly in professional sports, unless it's a family emergency, that you don't go back to you don't go back to Jacksonville with your team. I heard this coach after that game said that you got a heartbroken team in that locker room. I saw the coach pound his fist on the lectern because he was emotionally like, these guys could have won that game, should have won it, and they lost. So he was filled with a whole bunch of emotion. But you always hear, I mean, you being a coach, a former coach, I mean, you always hear this in sports. You win together, you lose together.
Yep.
You don't lose and and the coach say, well, I gotta go take some time and go watch the grandkids while those guys go back on the plane and go back to Jacksonville. Because if you're a player, and I know, a lot of things going on right now with the Jaguars that they trying to, cut down some, they're trying to put water over fire a little bit because this is something that's big, and it's something that's going to linger, unfortunately, and it's really something that's outshadowed. That they played probably their biggest rival on Sunday, and this is completely overshadowed that, whether they admit it or not. But when you have a football coach in his restaurant, they celebrating a birthday party. It basically was a birthday party the day after that game on Thursday, and to have him in an open area, and I don't, the first video was bad, but it wasn't nothing compared to that second video. That first video, she's dancing, and she's dancing,
Mhm.
basically on him,
Yeah,
and you
basically grinded on it.
right, and you can't see his hands. It doesn't look right, but
Mm-hmm.
his hands are down, so you can't see the hands. So you know, man, I mean, it's even crazy even talking about this because the guy's a head coach. I mean, this is a
Mm-hmm.
guy who's making 7 million a year. You know,
Yeah.
7 million a year. A leader of men is what I call him.
Mm-hmm.
And you what? I mean, man, I saw that first video, and I'm like you, Brandon. I said either he doesn't care, or he might be the dumbest guy I ever seen to be a public figure in his own restaurant, and he's in an open area where in the world we live in right now that everybody has cameras.
Yeah.
I covered the NBA for 15 years. I had plenty of conversations with players,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of players in that league don't do what they supposed to do. I mean, they go to towns, but the one smart thing I guess you can say that they do, they cover their tracks. They have security guys. I mean, Shaq had his security guy with him every year he was in the NBA, and it wasn't just like he was in danger. It's like
Yeah.
you know you don't know who might walk up on you. That's why you have security. If and you have to you're being cautious. You don't want to be in a
Yeah.
restaurant and be misconstrued or anything like that, to put yourself where you got to explain to your team. You got to explain. You
Yeah.
don't want to explain if you because sometimes look, it's hard to explain sometimes what something looks like. And to have
Mm-hmm.
this football coach, I mean, I'll break it down to this: a football coach who's been coaching college for 17 years, 17 years,
17
and
years.
and to come in here in the NFL for his first, he ain't even been on the job a month as far as the games played, and to have him not only have this happen after a loss. I have never heard of a head NFL coach. I never heard of a head NBA coach basically say publicly that basically he needed a break. He needed to get his mind together.
Mm-hmm.
So he wanted, it was emotional loss, and he had to, he felt it was okay for him to stay behind while his team, distraught from a game that they looked like they had when they had a 14-0 lead, and send those guys back to Jacksonville. I mean, that's part of the problem right now. Is can he get this locker room back? I mean, that
Yeah.
it ain't just the video. It's almost like a coach here done turned his back on his team in an emotional game. It would be one thing for Urban Meyer not to come back with the team if they had an open date coming into this week.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, they did play Thursday. They didn't play Sunday. But in the NFL, they might have they might have took Friday off, but I guarantee you by Saturday they would have been breaking down film and getting ready to get
Yeah.
ready, getting things coordinated to get ready to play the Titans, even though the Titans played that Sunday. But to have and then not only what I thought that the first video was bad, but I mean the second video basically says that he lied. He had a chance in that press conference. He said that he apologized for that. He said that he shouldn't have, that there was a party, I would assume, that was next door to his restaurant, and people came over and they was pulling him to, take him to that next place next door to his restaurant to take pictures. And he
Yeah.
admit that he shouldn't have been in that.
Yeah.
He
Should
should
have
have just
left. You say you should have left.
should have left and all that. And then it was 30 minutes after that press conference Monday, that second video came out. And
Wow.
first of if you I don't know if you've seen that video, but I've seen it many
Oh
times.
no, I saw it. I saw it. I saw what looked like a TSA agent giving a cavity search. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like, man. Looked like she was carrying contraband, and they pulled it to the side and say, "Ma'am, you've been randomly selected for a search." And but for him to not have a VIP room, side room, an office, and security is egregious. Like, you're Urban Meyer. I understand you're in Ohio, but you got on your Ohio State pullover.
Yep.
You're in Ohio. You're one of the most recognized people in that state.
Yeah.
And you're inebriated, and then you're out and about with this girl who isn't your wife in your restaurant where you have pictures of you and your wife up on the wall.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it, but it's going to be very hard for him to survive this. Now, I'm going to say something because this is my platform, and I believe this wholeheartedly. If Urban Meyer was Urban Jackson or Urban Williams or anybody, a black coach basically, or even probably a minority coach, he's gone right now. He's gone. He's gone. If this was Eric Bieniemy, do you think Eric Bieniemy survived this? No. Eric Bieniemy's gone.
Well, let me say this, Brandon. Before I even wrote something on that first video.
What's up, Tammy?
I mean, there were also sports talk radio in Jacksonville when that first video came out. A certain radio station, but so I just say sports talk radio in Jacksonville was saying that, basically boys will be boys, and it's too much attention to a harmless video. I heard that on the radio when that video came out on Monday.
Yeah, they did.
And they also were saying that, it's too much attention to this. And I understand national media has been hard on Irving since he took the job. I understand that.
Yes.
But, I agree with everything what you just said, because we don't get second chances. We barely get first chances, to be honest.
Yeah.
And when you and I said this to myself, and I said this to my wife, and I ain't afraid to say it. If a black coach would have been in that situation, it wouldn't have taken the second video for him to lose his job. He would have lost his job on that first video. It would have been conduct detrimental to the team.
Yeah.
Because those photographs in that first video, I mean, just put the first video along with the photograph, visibly shows that he was drinking alcohol, and he might have drank too much.
Yeah. What up, Lisa?
And that's the issue that I have. And Urban, I mean, I commend the guy for apologizing. I commend you in a situation like this, you can't, the problem he's going to have is you can't create a slogan to say own up, own it, which is slogan that's all around that stadium where the football operations are. And the problem he may not run into this week, but the problem he's going to run into, he's lost his credibility with his football team. Urban Meyer can't go up to a guy when they play at Tennessee. I mean, I'm sure that it's not going to happen after they play in London or something. But what if he have a situation with a player at Tennessee? They go to Tennessee, I think, in 3 weeks. What if you have a situation at Tennessee where a guy tells him, a player, that I don't want to go back with the team. I got relatives here in Nashville, and I want to stay behind, like you did.
Yeah. What can you say? Hey,
What can he say?
Ramsey's from Tennessee. What if Ramsey's still on the team? They fly there and Ramsey say, "Hey, I'm gonna stay
Yep.
back with my mom and pop." What
Yep.
can he say?
And I don't know this for sure, but the question was asked to Trevor Lawrence. Trevor, and I asked him that question. I say, Trevor, when did you know that coach was not on the team playing? And Trevor said, "Well, it's a large plane. We really didn't know." So he's smart.
Company
He answered
man.
it in the right way.
Yeah.
But apparently, Irvin did not let the team. He didn't let his players know that he wasn't coming back in advance. Now he did say publicly that he talked to Trent Baalke, who was the general manager, and he told him in advance that he wasn't coming back on the team. I mean, he wasn't coming back on the team playing. I have a problem with that. I have a problem that, to be honest, let's be real. Trent Baalke basically works for Urban Meyer. It ain't in reverse.
No, it's not. No. Mm-mm.
I mean, Trent Baalke don't even do press conferences because they wanted to have where Urban said that we wanted to be one voice, and the one voice is Urban Meyer. And and I put some of this blame on the ownership. I put some of this blame on Shad Khan. When you give a guy as much power as he's given Urban Meyer, power has a way of changing you,
Correct.
because it's almost to the point to me, just my opinion, I don't think Urban answers to anybody. He do now.
He does now.
Yeah. But he didn't before this incident,
Yeah.
And it's a problem, man. I feel that this is not something that's gonna fix itself. I don't think there's gonna be a situation where his apologies, which he apologized for the last 3 days. I think he's got a situation. His wife went on Twitter and she says she's getting off of Twitter just because of the negative comments and everything. His daughter
I saw it when you retweeted it. Yeah.
His daughter went on Instagram yesterday, still supporting her father. But what daughter wouldn't support her father?
Yeah.
But I think the long-term thing about this is that this story is not going away. We don't know what's out there, what video hadn't been put out there yet. We don't know the situation right now with the young lady that's in that video right now with her situation. The USA Today ran a story today about, her mother expressing concerns. This young lady has being investigated for her behavior by her job, that her mother says that she needs this job because she just bought a home. Yep. So there's a lot of things going on, and apologies are appropriate, but this is something that's gonna be a distraction. I believe, just in my opinion, it's gonna be a distraction for this team, and this team doesn't need distractions, man. This team doesn't need distractions created by their head coach. I mean, that's unacceptable, to be honest, particularly when you're 0-4 and you got a 19-game losing streak and you lose one more. You're only like 6 games from tying the Tampa Bay Bucks for the longest losing streak in modern NFL history. So this is the wrong time, the wrong team, and everything. And it's created by the head coach, which is why it's getting attention. The head coach should not be the person who is the distraction during the week that they're playing maybe the biggest rival on their schedule. It's just not good situation, man, to be honest about it.
Yeah, I see. Lisa Reed says, "White privilege, hard at work." Oh, Lisa, Lisa killing it. Hey, and that's a white lady, just so y'all know. I mean, Urban needs to practice delayed gratification. I mean, I don't even know if you know what that means or what it is. He needs to practice it because, it seems like he's impulsive. Like, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah.
And when you're a leader of men, when you're a coach, you can't just do what you want to do. And like you said about that, him not flying back with the team. I mean, every pundit I've seen talk about it, from NFL to NBA, MLB, former players, former coaches, current players, media people, everybody said the same thing. And all of however many years this specific person said they've been covering or coaching or playing, they've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Never,
Yeah.
never seen it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I coached, I was head coach of junior varsity at Terry Parker. I rode back on the bus after every game.
Mm-hmm.
I had to. That was my responsibility, making sure we got back to the school safely, make sure all the kids got to the parents safely. Whatever kids had issues, making sure they got rides home. If I had to take somebody home, I did that.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to do that, and then you didn't tell the team, you told Trent Baalke, and probably made a told Shad Khan about it. But like you said, that's basically a boss telling his second in command, "Hey, I ain't gonna be in tomorrow."
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 And
It's crazy.
I think in sports, man, you being a coach, player, the simplest things is what matters the most in sports, man. You don't have to say it. Okay, when the coach is on the plane, it's not something where you look over to your teammate and say, "There's coach" or something like that. It's not a discussion thing,
Yeah.
but it is where everybody is united. It's like you can't, it would be almost like, well, if you won the game and the running back scored 3 touchdowns, where he's got a limo waiting for him to go to the club or somewhere, while the team got to go back on the yellow bus. And you don't want to never separate your team. You don't never want to have discussions about he's getting a privilege more than that other person. And when in reality of sports is the star players always get a little
preferential treatment.
They get treated differently.
Yeah.
But I can guarantee you, I don't recall even like, unless it was personal, like Dion or any of those guys chose not to go back with the team.
Yeah.
And your coach is your example setter. You can't be a coach if you're not the guy that's setting the example for the players. Because not do they talk about everything. Players on that team watch everything.
Yeah, they do.
And
they do.
And when you slip as a coach where you can't explain yourself, because that's basically what, he can apologize all he wants. But the problem is he can't explain himself. He can't explain what made you decide after we lost a 24-21 game that I basically needed to take a break. And I needed to stay back in Cincinnati, in Ohio, where I'm born and was raised. And you don't think that a player gonna come back with you and say, if you deserve that, I deserve it too. I'm going through a 0-4 season just like you. I worked my on that practice field, and that privilege ain't granted to me.
Yep.
And he can't explain it. Now, what he's saying publicly is he trusts his locker room. They got good guys. We talked to a lot of players today, and publicly, they smart enough not to say anything to rattle the fence. We got to focus on the Tennessee Titans, but come on, man. I won't even say, but we saw some jokes.
Yeah.
We saw a team huddle, and I say publicly, I think he's got players on that team that's basically laughing behind his back.
Yeah.
And when you got players laughing behind a head coach back, to me, that means you lost your locker room. That's what that means. There's different ways you can lose your locker room. I think he's lost his players, to be honest. And not lost in a way that if they had practice, where he got a practice schedule tomorrow, he has a practice schedule yesterday and today that they're going to show up. He ain't lose them that way. What he lost is his credibility. And when you don't have credibility, it's hard to be that guy to lead these guys.
Yeah.
And I say this on Shad Khan's statement. It's an open-ended statement. It says he has to show us,
Yes, he
you know,
does.
he has to regain his respect, and he has to show us, and we don't know what he has to show, how long he has to show it, but this is a not a good situation, man. Not at all, you know.
No.
And it ain't no
And
sugarcoating to get it right. If a win comes Sunday, will it get back normal? I don't think so. I don't.
no. Um, it's it's so funny, man. Could you imagine this being the 2017 defense had went through this with him? I don't think they. You know how vocal they were.
Oh yeah, yes
I mean,
indeed.
you had Jalen Ramsey pretty much call out the defensive staff saying that I
Yeah,
don't know why they brought him back. They should have fired him. You know, they had no issue airing it out. And I just imagine what Yannick Ngakoue, Jalen Ramsey, you know, Calais Campbell was always very measured in things he said as a true leader.
yeah.
But I mean, you got Tashawn Gibson, Barry Church, Marcel Darius. I mean, I just would like to hear from those. Telvin. No, I would love to hear from those. Have heard from those
Yeah,
guys.
even Leonard Fournette.
Oh, Leonard Fournette.
I would.
I would. That's must see TV right there. If he's in this situation right now.
Oh, yes, indeed, boy. I can imagine what that would have been like. He might have would have joked about it, but boy,
Hey, Lisa say a shining example of thinking with the wrong head. Oh man. I mean, yeah. I mean
yeah,
that's what it comes down to. And then his wife, you know, one thing about his wife, I will say this about her, is wives and husbands know their spouse. So this isn't something he's done just now. He's probably done it. One of the rumors was for him leaving Florida. It was not because of health issues, you know, a heart condition or whatever it was he left for, that he said he left for. It was because of his relationships with young girls at Florida. That's allegedly, you know. And so after, you know, seeing this, I tend to believe that now, you know. But she knows him, you know. That's why she's sticking by his side. It's been 37 years, and she's not going nowhere. It's just terrible how people can be so, you know, just mean like kids. Like, why are you tagging her and stuff on Twitter? Why are you sharing stuff to her, DMing her, all of it? Why are you doing that? It's almost like, hey, look what your husband's doing. She already knows. She's seen it. She's seen it enough. So she shut down her social media accounts, which was probably the best thing. But everybody's in this situation because of Urban Meyer's decision. The organization, the NFL itself, his wife, the young lady, anybody who's associated with him, they're in this situation because of his actions and him doing what he wanted to do, which is incredibly selfish.
and that what makes it bad. That what
Bad.
makes it us why it's out in the open and nationwide. I mean, here you have a coach who basically is the face of the franchise. Basically, I mean, when you look at Trevor Lawrence, yes, he's that star quarterback, but Urban Meyer is the face of the franchise. You know,
Yep.
he was here before they drafted Trevor Lawrence, and just to have, I mean, you know what puzzled me the most about, you know, the Jaguars to me, you know. I mean, I wasn't here, you know, you followed them probably the whole time.
Yep.
But, you know, I didn't come on board. I mean, this is always my hometown, always will be, and I kind of followed them from a distance before I came back home. But this franchise has been through hell and back. This franchise doesn't need sour grapes. It doesn't need negativity. It doesn't need a head coach who you know, touching where he shouldn't have been touching a drink, and even some of the photos where it's just, you know, you
Oh
can,
man.
he looks drunk. I mean, hey, I'm not gonna, you know, lessen the blow for a head coach who made a dumb decision.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my fault, not your fault that we having this discussion about him. He put himself in this situation. So where I feel that if you put yourself in this situation, you open to criticism, you open to your integrity, you open to everything in making that mistake, And
Mm-hmm.
fortunately, he still has a job, but we know if that shoe was on the other foot, every coach wouldn't have his job, particularly after that second video came out. And it's just unacceptable for a guy to come in here. I remember all the hoopla. I remember that, it was almost like the Jaguars have found the savior, you know.
Yeah.
Even the owner saying that, I think I finally got it right this time, They kicked Doug Marrone out of town. This team was 1-15. It was almost like it was going to be happy days again. And then you look right now, and I'm telling you from what I see right now when I see Urban Meyer, I see a head coach who doesn't look the confident person as a coach in the spring as he does as the way he looks now. And even when he speaks about this team,
Yeah.
it seems like this job is a lot is more difficult than what he thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if he can. Who knows? I mean, I would never thought that some things that I've seen from this team, even when you go back to Houston, how disorganized they were in that Houston game. You know, you have
Yeah.
to burn timeouts just to get the plays in. You had 12 men on the field, not once but twice. And
Illegal procedures.
you had illegal procedure called, and it's
Mm-hmm.
just like from watching this team go out there on that practice field in that hot sun and go through training camp and and some of his methods I've never seen before on the NFL field. I never heard of winner or loser day. I mean, that was popular at Ohio State, but it's never been implemented on the NFL level. And
Mm-hmm.
winner or loser day. I also, and I think I said on your show, when you got an offensive line that gave up 44 sacks last year, and you don't individually work with the guy that's giving up the sacks, you don't work individually to correct the mistakes, but you coach the entire group, and the entire group work on the same thing, and that, hey, everybody got different strengths and weaknesses. The left tackle may have good footwork, but he has his hands too low. Or the
Yeah.
right tackle might have great footwork, but vice versa. It's just like one has great hands, one has poor footwork, and
Yeah.
you don't coach the whole group like everybody is on the same level. So that's the first thing that I saw, and that was in training camp. And it's just like certain things, that you just, Lil there, where, boy, that's kind of different. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
third week in camp, then you get into final cuts. I think you knifed out. I think you turn a wide receiver group into a marginal group,
Yeah. Yeah. You did. You did.
and
See.
it's just, I mean, I don't know, man. I think, I'm hearing whispers now that, man, maybe Shad should have just went and got a young, experienced NFL experience head coach and
Yeah.
not took the chance of a college coach with success, but never coached on the NFL level.
Yeah.
Because to me, Irvin is learning every day
Yeah.
what this NFL is like. I said on your show many times, he has a bullseye. I mean, you're not going to a college coach. I don't care how many national championships he won. He's not going to come in the NFL and take over this league. And don't think those coaches, the rest of the 31, ain't going to try to get some punches in and put him
Mm-hmm.
down the size that in the big boy league, it's a hell of a lot different than the college league.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I mean, how good does Eric Bieniemy and Byron Leftwich look to Shad Khan right now?
Yeah.
Look like two guys that he should have. It should have been down to those two, and he just coin flip to pick whoever. I mean, I'm not understanding, man. But let's see. Lisa Reed said, "I don't feel sorry for that chick. She knew he was married. Reap what you sow. Actions have consequences." I said the same thing. Yeah, she lose her job or whatever. Yeah, this is on her. She put herself in that situation. But the system will bail her out if she used keywords like she was coerced, or they got me drunk, or I felt uncomfortable. She used any of those words. She looked very comfortable to me, but if she started to use those words, the conversation starts to shift.
Well, don't forget that all this happened at his establishment that he owns.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you start talking about drinking and how much she drunk and when did they not stop giving her drinks in a legal situation, all that stuff going to come up,
Yeah. Yeah. Your bar, your alcohol with your employees pouring her drinks.
Yep. You the owner, you're liable for all that. So
yes. Let's see. Robin Brooks say he didn't use no COVID protocols.
Well, he's fully vaccinated, but still.
Hey, still. She said, I guess the ball was COVID free.
Yeah. It sure wasn't camera free.
No, it was not camera free. Shoot, he would have been better off catching COVID and going on the COVID list instead of being on video with that girl. Like, say,
he would have did better to go to Walmart, get him a 6-pack, go get a 12-pack, and brought his home, and spent time with his wife and them grandkids at home, and kick back on the couch. Man. Hey man, when you're 57, man, your days on the club supposed to be over with. It's supposed to be you. It's the wind down. You winding the clock down. He should have did that like 20 years ago.
Damn. This is crazy.
And like I told them dudes, man, I ain't never heard of a guy that didn't have a VIP room that I call the boom boom room.
Yeah. You're the owner and proprietor. Why don't you have an area where it's all from the general public?
Off limits, right. Yeah. No cameras or whatever, It's just in the area that, hey, maybe just family or whatever your selected guest that you want to be, that you can find and trust in. And he didn't do it. And here's a guy making $7 million a year.
Right. They say Lisa Reed say, nope, those 50-somethings belong to the streets. Hey, they do. Hey, they do. It's the ones who aren't settled down and they're not content. They still want to run the streets. Yeah, they belong to the streets.
Yeah, that's middle age crisis, man. That's what that is.
Man, that's
just like crazy. Being a grandpa and still riding a red Firebird.
Yeah. Let's see. Tammy said if he was single, he was fine at 57, not old. But yeah, if he was single, yeah. But he was married. Yeah, he would have been fine. But
we're not saying that. Yeah,
Yeah, he's married. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about touching a female.
Yeah, the way it looked on camera. Like if they say that this was his girlfriend. He wasn't married. Now it's his girlfriend. Much to do about nothing. As far as that. Now, the main thing though is him not flying back with the team. That's the one that seemed to stick in so many people's craw. But I will say this, Mr. Reid. I will say this. Even with all that said, I'm talking about this is a mountain of evidence that you can't give them up under. I don't care how much money you got. You can have OJ money and you won't be able to get up from up under these things right here. But I will say, if he wins, this goes away. Let's say that by his third year, we're making the playoffs. Nobody's talking about this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. If they show marked improvement next year, they finish out the season really good this year, nobody's talking about this no more, which is the messed up part about it. But that's how the game goes.
Well, as long as they don't have another video.
Yeah, as long as there's not another video.
As long as they're not women coming out with, I remember 20 years ago, this happened. If any of that, you're right. But I don't know. I mean, I just feel that he has to do. This is probably going to be his greatest challenge as a coach over the course of the rest of this season and maybe in the next season, because you know, when you read the stuff that's being written about him right now across the nation, I'd say 95% of it is not good.
No.
And for whatever reason, I mean, this was a surprise to me, but he's not very well liked outside of Jacksonville. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, and the only thing I knew about Urban Meyer was before he took that job, successful coach, good recruiter, and he won a lot, especially at Ohio State. And then you had the situation that happened with his, a member of his assistant coaching staff with his wife and that situation. And he definitely got a fallout by that because he didn't report anything. He didn't report that assistant coach was abusing his wife. And that
Yeah.
you know, but and his separation with Florida, how he left, that kind of burned some bridges in Gainesville. But I I think the situation with Urban Meyer, I think it got a lot to do with ego, and I think it got a lot to do with power. I think he has too much power with this job.
Yeah.
And I really feel for Shad Khan, I really feel that in order for him to be a successful owner in Jacksonville, he either gonna have to add another type of someone he can trust in football operations or something.
Yeah.
I don't think he's here enough. I don't know his schedule and all that, but I don't think he's here enough to really get the concept of this franchise because of his businesses up in Michigan and there's different
Yeah.
things he's making. I mean, he's a multi-billionaire, with a multi-billionaire, I don't know. But from my experience in New Orleans, when Tom Benson had his hands on everything.
Yeah.
He'll ride around the cart.
Right.
He had the people in charge, and and no matter how old he was, he still had meetings with his staff every morning.
Yeah.
But I took away from that is that no matter how old or how busy he was or how much money he made, he was still a hands-on owner, and he wanted to know everything that went on with his franchise. With Shad, I think he's more of a delegator. I think he's more of a, I hired, and nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong for a boss to have, he go hire the best people, and he
Yeah.
put his trust in those people that to really do their jobs without being micromanaged. And I get that. But when you have an NFL franchise in this city who's lost losing seasons in 11 out of 12 years, you basically taking a chance for success. And Urban Meyer didn't have a track record in the NFL. And as we said
Yeah.
earlier, there's a difference between NFL and college.
Yeah.
And I think he has to grab a hold of things a little more. And I feel, in my opinion, that he has given Urban too much power, too too much power. Too
Yeah.
many things got to run by his desk that's more than just he's a head coach. This player decision, this what do we do with this lineup? I think his power extends way beyond that with this franchise, and that may
Yeah.
not be the right thing for this Jaguar team that's in a rebuilding situation, trying to win, and got to still go through growing pains, and you give all your power to one guy. Because if you go back in history, every you can go back to leaders, you can go back to dictators, you can go back there. The one flaw is power.
Yeah.
When they come in, they're different, but when they get that power, they ain't the same. And that's what it don't have to just be sports and football. It's just
Yeah.
how much power that you delegate someone, and a lot of times they can abuse it, or they take advantage of it, or and sometimes they don't even realize it.
Yeah. I mean, and you hit the nail on the head. Shad he's at a crossroad right now with this franchise.
Yeah, no
because doubt. I mean, since he's taken over, 100 losses so far. You had one of the worst head coaches as far as winning percentage in NFL history. I think second worst. The only one that beat him out was Burt Bell, the Philadelphia Eagles owner, back in like 42. And that's Gus Bradley, had one of the worst winning percentages in NFL history. 11 out of 12 losing seasons, like you said. Just bad decision after bad decision, bad drafting, passing up on proven players. And I would say proven players, but players who were better than the players that they took. Taven Bryan comes to mind and Lamar Jackson. We're gonna leave it at that. But like you said, that about him being hands-on, he either has to be here more because what you're doing currently now is not working. It's not working. So you have to reevaluate what you're doing. Do you take this seriously? Do you take football seriously? He says he loves the game, and I think he means well, man. I just think that.
Oh yeah, I do too. I do.
I'm online, man. I kind of feel like he was almost hustled by Balky and Urban Meyer because they say he met Urban Meyer at the Super Bowl, and Urban had been in his ear since then. And then they say the day after the Super Bowl, he hired Balky, which was Urban's, guy. Right. And then he hired Urban after that. So when he hired Balky, looking back on it, after he hired Balky, I mean, they did other interviews because you had to do it. But if he could have signed Urban Meyer without interviewing anybody else, he probably would have done that. And I think that it was a mistake. It would have been a mistake to do so. But he has to reevaluate everything.
I also thought that it might have was a little rushed. I don't know who. I think let's go back to January. I mean, he's never hired a coach who basically he had to entice Urban to take this job. I mean, I can go back to that process that when that rumor first came out that they were just, that he automatically Urban Meyer shot number one on that list, and they interviewed other candidates and that, but I just feel that you can't go back and just say that Coughlin was bad. I mean, I think that Coughlin came back to Jacksonville, older, I think there is a reason why the Giants got rid of him at that point. After I'm not never going to discount his success here in Jacksonville or with the New York Giants. But I think you can't use Coughlin and basically say because of the mistakes that Coughlin made that you can't have like a president of football operations. You can't have a experienced NFL guy that doesn't have any, his whole way of dealing with things is completely opposite from the way Coughlin was. The problem with Coughlin as the head of football operations, he never got coaching out of his system. They brought him back for that job, but he never got the football coaching part out of it. He shouldn't have been on the field every day. He was on the field every day. And when you have an image of, the head of the football operations on the field every day, you got Monroe out there. It left the sense to the players like who's really in charge. I mean, you got to have a guy in charge, and I think that when they, he kind of monitored things for the last 2 years, kind of saw, well, what direction do we need to go in? Do we need to get just an expert type coach who never had a losing season, and he took that direction. And I remember the press conference. He said we got to be a coach-centric team. We got to have one guy, one voice, and that's how we're gonna do it. But if you go to other franchises that win, I mean, you go to Green Bay's, you can go, I mean,
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh and those places.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to have levels of organization and leadership.
Yeah.
So if you got I mean, the checks and balances shouldn't be. I mean, Khan evaluating Irvin. He's not experienced enough. You
Yeah.
know, he's not experienced to evaluate Trent Baalke,
Yeah.
and he definitely wasn't experienced enough because I thought he should have fired Dave Caldwell 3 years before he fired him. I mean, because
And
because
that's
of
the one. That's
yeah.
the one who they used. Looking back on it, they used Tom Coughlin as a scapegoat.
Oh, no question, no
Yeah,
question at
looking back
all.
on it, and I was on that train. I was like, yeah, he got to go. He's this, he's that. But then when the players start talking about their issues, David Caldwell was a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was a problem, man. And they used him as a scapegoat. And I think that Caldwell, just like other football guys, knowing that Khan does not have the experience, took advantage of that.
Oh,
And then him not being here too. Him not being here empowers them. Urban doesn't feel the way he feels. Caldwell doesn't feel the way he feels. None of them. If Khan is over their shoulder. Now you don't have to be Jerry Jones or Dan Snyder, Shad Khan, but you can't be what you've been. You have to be here.
Oh, he got to be here, and I think he's got to have. I think he's got to have a guy that he can trust, but knows football. He's got to go find an experienced football operations guy. If I was him, I'd go to Kansas City. I'd go to Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I would find me a guy that's got a track record in the football operations department. He doesn't have to be the main guy, but he has to be the guy that's seen everything. And he needs to get a guy like that. And Urban Meyer, to me, and just my opinion, I've been saying just my opinion a lot tonight, but he needs to have somebody that he can answer to that's not the owner. He has to answer to somebody that's been in the league a long time. Mm-hmm. So because I feel right now he's learning. I mean, we shouldn't be an organization where you got a head coach and he's learning on the job. I mean, it's not going to work like that. I mean, to be honest,
everything while he's learning,
and he's learning and he's in charge of everything, which is even more of a problem, because if he's, I would have say to me, and Trent Baalke by title is the GM, and he's got his guys, his scouts, and all that, but real talk, Urban is the guy that's probably pulling the plug on the drafts. I'm still confused why Walker Little. You invested a second round pick in a guy and he can't get on the field. You look at those drafts. You look at wide receiver, Cullen Johnson. You had a guy in your system, and I saw him catch like 4 or 5 passes against the Saints for the Giants. You can't have guys that's been developed. You didn't develop them, but they've been developed in your program. Yeah, and they're going and contributed.
Jarrett Wilson is another one.
Yeah, Jarrett Wilson, but with Quincy Williams. But I didn't think Quincy would have a game like he had against the Titans, but he did.
He did.
He
did.
And I think that, I mean, I'm almost like I walked into a situation in Jacksonville that is about as dysfunctional as the situation that I covered in New Orleans with the basketball team, because it was dysfunctional. You had a football guy in New Orleans who made Mickey Loomis was the guy making the final decisions on basketball transactions and everything. So the GM had to go to him to get final authorization if he wanted to make a trade, or if he wanted to cut a guy. it superseded the GM, and it went to the football operations guy. Well, he didn't have time to evaluate. He was, what first priority was the Saints.
Yes.
And it's just like it's almost like it just seems like dysfunction has come. It's almost like the same dysfunction.
Yeah.
It's just a different sport and a different town, and you're not going to win if you got dysfunction. You're not going to win if you done had previous mistakes by the previous regime who couldn't make accurate decisions on talent evaluation. You can't win if you can't talent evaluate. You're not going to win.
Right. If I'm Shad Khan, I will take this time to rewrite the language in Urban Meyer's contract.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you should be able to do that now. Conduct detrimental to the league and the team. Whenever you bring those things up, things change. Like what they did to Leonard Fournette, they voided the rest of his guaranteed money. It can be done if you act a certain way. So if I'm Shad Khan, I'm definitely doing that. I'm pulling back some power from him, and you have to do it. You have to do it. So, but I've heard talk of who's going to be the next head coach. Are they going to fire him? Bring him an interim coach, Mike Florio from Pro Football. Focus Pro Football Talk. He was talking about it, and dude, he was suggesting Tony Dungy come in. He suggested Jeff Fisher. Hey, shout out to John Shipley. John Shipley said, well, if you're gonna do that, then bro, why you gonna bring back Marv Levy while you at it? Like, come on, man. Jeff Fisher, really? I don't want him nowhere near Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't know if he does lose his job. You better get on the phone with Bieniemy and Byron Leftwich tomorrow.
Yeah, and he's got to go get a. I think he's got to
get a football guy.
Yeah, get a football guy. Change
So
the whole football operations department.
So two people who I would back the Brinks truck up to their house and tell them to come run football operations. Dorsey, who built the Chiefs. I think it was John Dorsey. I think John Dorsey built the Chiefs. Yeah, and then he retired, but see if he'll come out of retirement. Ozzie Newsome. Hey, Ozzie, I understand you're done, but hey, just come here. You're not gonna have the same role you had with the Ravens. I know you don't want to have that grind you had before, but I need you here and I need your guidance. I would go get it.
Yeah, even for Ozzie Newsome, I hire him as a consultant, but I would confide in his opinions. But if he didn't want to be a full-time job and he's enjoying retirement, I would do everything possible to hire him as a consultant. Hell, I hired Jimmy Johnson as a consultant.
Yes. Yeah, I would. Man. You have to. Like you said, that's the one thing. He can't do the checks and balances because he doesn't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, he needs somebody who's been done, who done went through rebuilding. And another thing I gotta say, man, Jaguars got to. I mean, rebuilding is an ugly word. Yeah. But you can't put your fan base way up here on the clouds when you know the talent is barely above the ground. You can't, because what you're doing, you raising the expectations of this team, and when the season starts 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, it's like you dropping out of a balloon and it's taking you time to hit the floor, and it's like. You got to stop raising the expectations of this team to your audience. You got to be realistic about it, And Trevor Lawrence, we were all on the bandwagon that the starting block to winning is having a franchise caliber quarterback that's great, but the talent around him is not. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and I know you got that Jaguar on your shirt. I don't know if this team has the same amount of depth and quality talent as the Jets. I watched the Jets last week. Yeah. And I think the offensive line is better. They got better tight ends. And I don't know, I'll put LaVisca and I put some of the receivers for the Jaguars. I like Marvin Jones. I don't know if they got an edge in that area, but they definitely got it on the offensive line. They defense that the defensive front looked a little better than the Jaguars.
Yeah, we don't have a Quentin Williams here.
No, you're right. You don't have a big play guy that don't matter who, how, how they block him. He's still gonna make plays.
Yeah,
And that's the kind of talent that you need, man. When you watch the Rams defensive front looked twice as big as the Jaguars.
yeah.
It's just noticeable to me. You a little bit of Tampa Bay too. That defensive front, the size and the quickness of the guys, it's almost it's night and day, and that's what they got to get their talent level up to. If the guy come out of the game, you got another guy to go in the game. That's not no drop off or anything. And I think Joe Cullen, bless his heart, I know he's a successful guy in Baltimore. But I mean, I'm starting to wonder: is this coordinating is different than coaching the defensive front? And when you can't you can't have Josh Allen, who's your best pass rusher, and I don't know, he rolled out a percentage of I think it's 12%. What he said is the percentage that he's dropping back. Well, when I watch him, he's dropping back and he's not doing anything. So if he's not doing anything, then what's the point?
I saw that too.
I'd rather have him making a play on the quarterback, even if he get blocked, than he's stopping something from going outside. But just to drop him back, there was a play in that game where he dropped back. Now, he did a great job shuffling his feet, but the tight end went right by him. And he stayed in his area. So I don't know if that was zone or what, but he didn't go at the tight end. And that kind of stuff going into 4 weeks of the season is unacceptable, man. I mean, you got to put your guys in position to make plays. And if you're taking them out of position to make plays, I blame that on the coaching. I don't blame that on the player,
Yeah, I saw where he talked about all the guys that's been in the system and how much they've dropped back. He talked about Judon dropped back like 400 times over the last couple of years. Pernell McPhee, I think he may have mentioned in Denver, Von Miller. He mentioned a couple guys, man, and saying they dropped back, and I get that. But if you dropping back and you're not looking for work, like there's nothing there, and you just covering empty space.
Yeah,
that's a waste.
You taking them out of the play, which that offense wants you to do. And another thing about dropping back, you dropping back, but you're also going forward. But they don't know who's coming or who's going back. So that's something that the Jaguars got to do a better job of, is disguising whatever they're going to do. Because if you throw up, say you got a 3-man front and all of a sudden you got 5 up and they got too many to block, you got to come up with different ways to change your defense up so you can make that offensive line get in confusion. I don't see that. I don't see it on offense either. I like to see man in motion. I like to see stacked bunch of receivers on one side. I like to see, pitch plays that with the guard pulling and you forcing the action. I like to see reverses. I mean, I like to see whatever I can see. If that defense got caught off guard, I can see it with my own eyes that they caught off guard. When you run a play on first down, you on the goal line and can't score, and you give a quarterback's keeper when you should have gave that ball. It was not only a quarterback keeper, but you were in shotgun, which, come on. I mean, and it takes 3 weeks for them to realize that you got a talent in James Robinson. I mean,
we're talking about a all-time mess. If they don't be successful, if nothing good comes out of this, they'll be talking about this failure for a long time. I mean, I never thought that we would have anything worse than what Gus Bradley was, or who was it? He was here 1 year. Mike Mularkey. I just never imagined that you would have someone worse than that. And dude, by all intents and purposes, those guys are ahead of. I mean, they're light years ahead of this coaching staff. You know,
no question. And you have to put your. I mean, the point of coaching, putting your guys in position to make plays.
yeah.
Did you see the video? There's a video that NFL, I think the NFL.com put a video out. Bengals had two receivers lined up on the right side. I think Clay Brooks, Trey Herndon was lined up in front of each one of those receivers. They did a cross route. The inside guy went outside, the outside guy went inside. Herndon stayed with the outside guy, which I think that was his responsibility. But Clay Brooks came over with the outside guy, and they left the guy that made the crisscross inside. He was wide open. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can't make mistakes like that.
No.
4 weeks into the season.
No.
I mean, you
can't.
you just can't. I mean, and that's not being prepared. That's not you being out schemed. Like I say this all the time. Andrew Wingard, he can hit. But don't think that teams are out there. I mean, teams will find your weak point.
Yeah.
The weak point in their secondary is they're going to have the secondary go on a seam route to force him, isolate him in the single coverage with that tight end, and he doesn't have the speed to keep up with a tight end.
Yeah.
The middle
the middle of the field is open every game.
It is.
Every single game. All it is in play action. Teams can't even run the ball like that. But as soon as they start to get a little traction, all you do is a little play action. Damian Wilson and Miles Jack first steps are forward as a linebacker. So they step up, they see that it's a fake, and they don't get back fast enough. Wide receiver crossing route, tight end crossing route, coming in behind them. And it's there every single time.
The play that they set up to get the field goal against the Bengals, 87 ran a seam route right across the middle, 25 yards. The next play, they kicked that field goal.
Yes. Oh, and please, no more cover zero. I don't want to see cover zero.
No cover zero. No, sir. You're right.
No more of that. No, we don't have the personnel for that. I'm sorry. It needs to be a safety back, at least one, all the time.
And please put Cisco in the game, y'all. Put him in the game. What are you gonna do next year? I mean, it's like, come on. He's your future safety for years to come. He's not learning standing on the sideline. Put him in the game. I don't know what.
And somebody brought up the fact too. So you're taking valuable reps away from Cisco for him to get better. They talk about how I can't remember who I see talking about it, but they said that Trevor Lawrence is further along than people think.
Yeah.
And not only is he further along than people think, but it goes to show that the reps that he shared with Minshew were a waste. It was a waste because he could have been further along than he is now. And they say he's far along, further than people think. But imagine where he would be had they put to bed that false competition.
Yeah, well, that was a Irving mistake, just like it was hiring that strength coach. To me,
the strength coach. I forgot about the strength coach. God.
Yeah.
It's like that, man. It's like that. Oh my goodness. I don't know, man. I couldn't imagine a worse start for the Jaguars. I mean, I was talking to a fan today, and he was like, man, he said, can I just not be a laughing stock? That's all I want. I want mediocre. We long for mediocrity here in Jacksonville. We can't even get mediocrity. I can't even get 8-8, 7-9. I can't get it. I can't. But our coach is out chasing tail.
Well, let me tell you this: when watching the Jaguars on the outside, I remember when Malarkey was a coach. Mike
Malarkey. Yeah, I remember.
I had my free. I had a special and got the ticket, the Sunday ticket. And I say, well, I'm gonna follow my hometown team. Man, it took me about 3 games, and I said, I like red zone because it only gonna show who scores. But boy, to try to sit up there and watch those games back when he was coaching, man, and the quarterback was bad, it just man, please, it wasn't
Yeah.
entertaining. It
No.
wasn't even worth watching.
No, it was not, man. But I mean, it is what it is. We'll see what it is going forward. We'll see how Meyer works his way back from this, whether he'll be replaced or not. I mean, who knows, man? But going forward, I mean, I shouldn't hear a peep out of him if it ain't about football. I
Oh
shouldn't.
yeah. You're right. I mean, it got to be everything about football. And to be honest, he's got to win, man. I mean,
Got to win.
I think the only cure all of all is that they go out there Sunday and beat the Titans. I mean, that would be a start of things to moving it back in the right direction. But this team got to get a win, man. It's
Got
long
to.
overdue. It's been a bad week. It's been bad publicity. This this head coach has overshadowed the team with negativity and I mean he's a distraction, which is almost like unheard of in the NFL for the head coach to be
The
the
head coach.
distraction of the week.
Yeah.
So if he ain't never coached like he coached before, he need it. I would say it's a must win. He needs a win. He's got to get a win, man. And I
Yeah.
ain't talking about going to London in a week. Maybe trying to beat Miami. He
Yeah.
needs to go in TIAA Bank Field and get a win.
Yeah. Yeah. He does, man. He does. So, well, I think we could wrap it up there. And we done talked about that for an hour, but we had to get that out there.
Yeah.
That had to be talked about. That had to be done. I think we covered all the bases, and we talked more about Urban Meyer and his foolishness than we did football. I'm sure in this hour and 12 minutes we've been talking, we probably talked about football for 12 minutes.
Yeah. We ain't talked nothing about the Yulee Bulldozer.
Oh, and we got to see him Sunday, and I'm sure he pissed off. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm sure he is too, man. He's been overshadowed by Meyer.
Yes. Oh man. But
Lord have mercy, boy. I tell
yeah,
you.
man.
We love
Yeah.
sports, but Lord, ain't it something, man? You'll never know what you're getting each day. You
Yeah.
never know
I
what's
say
gonna be next each day.
I'll stick to it to my dying day. Hey, and I don't know if anybody else ever said it, but hey, I'm gonna take credit for saying it first. Sports are the longest running reality show in human history.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's the longest
It's
because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get from day to day. Longest running reality show. And it's a soap opera too. On top of that, as we see.
that's why I gotta get back to high school. I gotta go back and follow Rebold and Reigns and something, man. Where it's just a sport. It's just athletes who going out their way, trying to get a scholarship, playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. Ain't no drama and all that. Just going out to watch the game. I
Yeah.
think that's what I want, man.
T Smalls, what's up, man? Hey, I ain't forgot about your T Smalls. I'm gonna get you on the platform, and we gonna get that interview in for my man. Let's Talk Under the Tree podcast. Y'all check them out. Him and Pastor Palmer, Leander Palmer, and their network, man. I appreciate them. They've allowed me, especially Mr. Palmer. He's allowed me to put my shows in his group, and it's helped me grow. So I appreciate y'all. But T Smalls, I got you, man. We ain't here talking about these Jaguars, man. You already know because he a huge Jaguar fan, so he already know, man. He already know. But man,
we need to get a call-in show, man.
hey, I'm gonna start. I said that as I grow and I get people who want to come on and talk, I'm gonna have it to where I'm gonna have them lined up at the bottom here. We're gonna bring them on, let them say whatever, and then we're gonna go from there. Yeah, that's coming too. So we'll have people be able to call in and say whatever.
Everybody got a vent, man.
Mm-hmm.
Especially them fans that pay that money to go see the Jaguars and see this loss and pay that money each time, man, and pay this expensive beers and all that and don't see a victory. They got a vent too, man.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do, man. Yeah. So I think we covered all the bases. So we're gonna stay in the NFL because I gotta a few topics for the NFL, but we're gonna blaze through these. Then I got a few for the NBA. Yeah. So and then even a WNBA story, which is very interesting. I don't know if you heard about that, but we're gonna delve into this WNBA story I got. What was the one? Oh, Vic Fangio. That's the one that I had highlighted. Vic Fangio. So Vic Fangio had some smoke for John Harbaugh after the game and the Baltimore Ravens in general after the game. So Vic Fangio, he blasted them for pursuing the rushing record in the final seconds of the game. I think they were at like 99 yards, and Denver had the ball, and John Harbaugh said, if we get the ball back, we're going for the record. Yeah. And they got the ball back, and they ran the ball with Lamar Jackson. They got the record. And they tied the record with Pittsburgh, 43 straight games with 100 yards rushing. And, you know, people speculating that say if this wasn't a Pittsburgh record, would they really care to get it like that? You know, who knows? But the fact that it was a Pittsburgh record gave them a little more incentive to go get it. And I got no problem with it. It was in the confines of the game. But I do like what John Harbaugh said to Vic Fangio, because Vic Fangio criticized him. And he used to be on the staff. And he used to be on his brother's staff in San Francisco. So this is a guy you know. He said that it was 10 seconds left in the game, and y'all were throwing the ball into the end zone. He said, I've never seen a 16-point touchdown. So there was no way you could have won the game, but you chose to throw the football. And if you hadn't threw the football, we wouldn't have got the ball back.
Yeah.
So
hey, I think he told him. I mean,
right.
And you know, I mean, the thing like that is, man, you know, Denver had their opportunities, but if you didn't want that record, then you should have did what you're supposed to do to stop it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah. I think Cam Newton said it best.
I think, what was the record? The consecutive games of getting at least 100 yards rushing, I think. Wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were at 42, and the record is 43, and they tied it.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, you know, I don't think they always have to kneel down. I mean, they wanted to extend the streak. I mean, Lamar Jackson said he didn't quite understand it, but hey, he did what the coach told him to run, and he ran.
Yeah, it's that simple, man. It's that simple.
It's football, man. You run the ball, you stop it, and you don't stop until the clock say all zeros. You know.
Yeah, and I like Harbaugh. Harbaugh took the high road for the most part, but he said it was one of those things that's meaningful. It's a very, very tough record to accomplish. It's a long-term record, so I'm not going to say it's more important than winning the game for sure. It's certainly not. But as a head coach, I think you do that for your players and you do that for your coaches, and it's something they'll have for the rest of their lives. And he said, talking about Fangio, he said, I thought we were on good terms. We had a nice chat before the game. We've known each other for a long time. I promise you, I'm not going to give that insult 1 second thought. And that was perfect. That's perfect right there. He's like, we're on the Cincinnati. Like Belichick, he's like, when they want to talk, I forgot what they wanted to talk about. He said, we're on the Cincinnati. We're on to the next game. There's nothing else to talk about. The Broncos lost, we won. Yeah. End of story.
But he was bad on the Baltimore, man. He was talking about the hits, like they
in the league,
they try to injure players. They dirty, like basically they dirty.
That's basically what he said. Oh my goodness. So it's I don't know, man, but hey, it is what it is. So we'll go into the next subject. One of the things I want to talk about too. And you've been watching football these last couple of weeks, college and pro.
Yeah.
The quality of football to me is at an all-time high. I think this is the best football as far as games, competition, and play between teams I've seen in a very long time. I've never seen this many quality games week after week after week. You know, you'll have some quality games, you know, some big matchups, and then you'll have a couple clunkers, especially college football. Yeah. But in college football, you got Jacksonville State beating Florida State. Like you got Georgia State taking Auburn to the wire. You know, you got North Carolina State beating Clemson. Like it's crazy. And then in the NFL, the same thing. That Thursday night football game between the Jaguars and the Bengals was the second most watched Thursday night game since 2018.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. They reported that after the game. And to me, that says one thing: star power. Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence has star power. And that's why people tuned into that game. 2 number 1 picks going at it. Oh, yeah.
But you know what, man? I'm old. I've said this many times on your show here. I'm an old school guy. So old school guys say, man, I was around there. Well, I got like the NFL app. And on the NFL app, you can watch the replay of games. But they got on there where you can watch the old Super Bowls. So I was watching Dallas against Pittsburgh. I think this was like 76. And then I looked at, I saw Mean Joe Green. He looked big and all that, man. But you know what, man? When you look at that game and you look at the athletes now, I mean, it's almost like night and day, you know.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, Drew Pearson was fast, and Lynn Swann was fast. But I don't know. I mean, there'd be certain teams right now that Lynn Swann may not even be a starter on.
This is correct.
And then L.C. Greenwood was 6'8", and then I think they said he was 235 as a defensive end. And then, like, even if he's 6'8", he's 6'8". Yeah, there's not a lot of 6'8" defensive ends. But I guarantee you, in the league now, 235.
Hey, he's going to be pushed all over the field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. A 6'2", 330-pound lineman will take him to school at 235. He just doesn't have enough bricks in his back pocket. That's just what it is, man.
And in reality, if the Steelers, they won 3 Super Bowls. If the Steelers were to play...
Five.
But I'm talking about
but 4 back in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, like back to back. If they would have played, if that team, that 76 team that beat the Cowboys, if they would have played, say, Kansas City, I don't think it would have been a contest. I think they might have lost by 4 touchdowns. That Steelers team.
Yeah. The athletes have changed.
Just seems how the play calling, the athletes, I will say this: Dallas in that game, back then the quarterback was always behind center, and the Cowboys was running the shotgun. They were like the only team back in the mid '70s was running out of the shotgun. But Staubach couldn't. He wasn't fast enough to be a shotgun. He could get the ball out of his hand, but if the pass rush came from one side, he got sacked like 2 times in that game out of the shotgun. It's just amazing how this game has evolved, man. We don't realize until you go back and watch those games from the past and see the difference now, man. So
I hate people talking about, well, the guys today couldn't play, back in the day, and the guys back in the day could play today. And I'm like, are y'all crazy?
Yeah.
I'm like, that's why they talk about that with LeBron. Well, LeBron couldn't have played in the golden era in the Jordan days. Man, LeBron would have dominated those days, man. Are y'all crazy?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man.
Oh my goodness!
Just imagine if he could hit you and knock you out of the post, and he's 6'8", 260. Yeah, he would have been like Larry Johnson, but much quicker.
Right. All right. Let's see. Troy Davis says, "What's up, my dude? I'm sure y'all been getting in the urban combo. Sorry, late to the party. Keep grinding. Yeah, we done talked about it. You got to go back and watch the broadcast." I said, "Are you on the bandwagon to fire Urban?" I'm not saying I'm on the bandwagon to fire Urban. At this point, I don't think it's really going to matter, especially now. If we talking about the offseason coming up and they're talking about getting rid of him and come bringing somebody in, okay, I'm cool. Bieniemy, Leftwich, whoever you want. I got that. But, right now it is what it is. See, and how many plays is the kick returner going to get this week at receiver? Jamal Agnew does need more reps at wide receiver. This is true. I don't know. They said they said they want to get him at least 5 touches a game. Yeah, I think I heard that from Bevel.
Bevel say he's going to incorporate him, but who knows what that means? But they got to get this guy on the field. You got to, you got to have playmakers on the field. I don't care about kick returner, special teamer.
Yeah.
But if he can get past a cornerback and get open and get separation, get him on the field, man. No question. He's good. Man. He's good. He's fast. He's good. He can a great open field runner, good vision. Get him on the field. You gotta score. You gotta find ways to score, man. You don't have DJ Chalk, so you gotta find something to be a downfield threat, man. You gotta use your talent. I like to take the Austin too. Use him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You gotta use Tavon Austin. They asked about Tyson Johnson. They said that they want to incorporate him more, but they say he got to earn trust on the practice field first. They said they need to see more from him in practice before they incorporate him.
He got to learn how to run routes. I mean, he got to be a perfectionist at running routes and want to do it in a high level way. That was his problem in with the Chargers. I mean, he's got to be a guy who, like as he said today at his news conference, Devils, you have to win your battles on the practice field first. And obviously he's not winning enough of them. But that's kind of strange to say for a team that's 0-4 because he's fast. But he has, you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to bring your toolbox at practice. You don't bring your toolbox at practice, then he'll be watching with us.
Yeah, he will. He'll be cut. See, what's the next subject? Before we leave the NFL, Terrell Pryor is making headlines again because Mr. Terrell Pryor has been arrested, and he was arrested for allegedly hitting a woman and throwing pumpkins at her car. He said he was charged with a misdemeanor count of simple assault and summary offenses of harassment and criminal mischief after reportedly slapping a woman during an argument and reportedly injuring her left eye. He also allegedly threw a deck chair at the woman when she tried to get into her car. He reportedly threw pumpkins at the car, which damaged the windshield. So of course he was released on $100,000 on unsecured bail. He denied hitting the woman, but he did say he threw the pumpkins. Oh. Now, the one thing, his NFL career is over, of course. He's done. Yeah. But the one thing with him is that I've seen is that he's gotten into it with this specific person a couple of times. She's stabbed him. She stabbed him probably about a year ago, I think it was. Stabbed him. Got pictures of him with the bandages on, arm in the sling. Like she stabbed him, and I don't know. She hit him with something. I can't remember what it was, but I think broke his collarbone or something because he was in the sling and had the little things on it from getting stabbed. He needs to leave this girl alone. Leave it alone, man. Yeah, why are you still with her?
Yeah.
Obviously, she brings out a side of you that you should. I mean, you shouldn't see the light of day.
Yeah. Yeah, he should have soul searched a couple of years ago. Because somebody gonna get seriously hurt in that relationship.
Yeah.
If not already. You say you already been shot, you say?
Stabbed. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was stabbed. Mm-hmm.
I remember when he was here in Jacksonville though.
Yeah, I remember when he was here. He just couldn't stay healthy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just couldn't stay healthy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, here it goes. Yeah, October 28th, 2020. Girlfriend pled guilty in stabbing incident. And and of course, he has a Jaguar jersey on in the picture that they show. Of course. Yeah, Shalaya Briston pled guilty to stabbing incident at their home. Yeah, stabbed them multiple times during the fight last November. So, dude, this is a toxic relationship up and down.
Yes, it is. It's almost time to bail out. Get the bailout balloon and move on, man.
Move it on, dog.
Somebody gonna get hurt.
Yeah. Let's see, Troy Davis said, you got to admit we are close, couple pieces away. Why not grab something with the money we got? I mean, well, there's not much out there. I mean, unless you were talking about Jalen Smith and Stephon Gilmore, I mean, what's out there to grab right now? I don't see anything that's a clear upgrade over what we have. I mean, I haven't really looked at the free agents that's left like that. But on top of my head, I can't think of anywhere I'm like, hey, go spend that money and go get this player. Because if they were out there, they would have them by now, I would think.
And I don't think he said he thought they were close. Is that what he wrote?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think they're close. I think he's got to add more talent, or if it's Irving or whoever. I think they got to address the offensive line. I think they got to get more speed at receiver. I think they got to get. I think the secondary got some questions, particularly at safety. I think they got a guy that can be the future of the team, but he's sitting on the bench. I think that when you look at Caleb Vaughn, Chason, I really feel that. I think it spells bust. I don't think he's gonna be whatever they thought he was gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be that.
No.
And I think it's just time to. Actually, he's a backup. He lost his starting job to. I can't even think of his name. Called a blank. But I think that part is over. And I just think they gotta find talent. They gotta get talent across the board. And you gotta look. I think they gotta compare themselves. Teams don't like to compare themselves to other teams and all that, whatever that means. But they gotta find something to compare. How did you get from bottom to playoffs to, they gotta find a model that's not Ohio State,
Yeah,
not the University of Florida, and they gotta get a model that we gotta build this team like that team, and they gotta add talent.
Yeah, they have to. They have to, man. I just want to share real quick before we move on to the NBA. I gotta share this photo, man, because we just talked about Terrell Pryor, and this is what the ex-girlfriend had him looking like not too long ago. Look at him. He's stabbed all up across his chest. The arm is in a cast. Like, why didn't you leave at this point right here? This was your sign to leave. I'm sure you had signs before it got to this point, but now you got arrested for throwing pumpkins at her car and allegedly throwing a deck chair at her and slapping her in the face. But and this is the thing: was she trying to stab him again when he did these things? Who knows? But
I wouldn't want to find out the consequences, man.
No.
But that's the world we live in, man. Love is a powerful thing. Man.
Yeah. So is stupidity. That's powerful too. Yes, and that's powerful. That's powerful too. Yes, so, all right. So we're gonna move to the NBA, and we hadn't talked about it. Kyrie Irving. What is your assessment on Kyrie Irving? Andrew Wiggins has folded. Andrew Wiggins said, "Hey, I'm gonna miss too much money, man. I can't do it. I'm gonna go ahead and get it." He didn't like it. He's against it. He's gonna be vocal about it to the end of time, I'm sure. I love what Draymond said about it too. But Kyrie Irving, man, Kyrie Irving is one of those guys where it just doesn't seem like the Brooklyn Nets are not in control of this situation. The NBA is not in control of this situation. He has him over a barrel, really, if you really think about it. And at any time, Kyrie, if any player threatened to walk away from the game, which many did in a bunch of different sports, because they didn't want to get the jab, Kyrie is the one player who I would say will probably walk away.
Yeah. All I say, man, is he different, man. I think he's different because that's the way he want to be. if the rule is in New York that you can't play, they don't want you in the arena if you're not vaccinated,
Right.
then it's almost like telling them, if you don't want your job, then walk away. If you don't want to abide by those rules, then you got to walk away. There's no exceptions.
Yep.
There's no way around it. You can, and I don't know if he did what Wiggins did, but Wiggins went all the way to the NBA, to the commissioner,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't
Try to
get
get
the
that religious exemption.
try to get the religious exemption, and he didn't get it. And Kyrie just seems like, I don't know if it's stubbornness, if it's just fighting to the end, or whatever it might be, but I don't think he really looks at the impact of his actions. Like, it's almost he's saying that I'm bigger than the team. That's what it looks like to me. It's not like he's considering his team. He's considering himself, and it's selfish, and it's almost like this Urban Meyer thing a little bit, that all the attention, all the drama is on Kyrie,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not going to bend the rule for you. If everybody else got to do it, then they may not agree with it. I may not agree with it. But
Mm-hmm.
if I want to play ball, and that's the only thing that's standing in the way, my team needs me, then I done lost the battle. I mean, what am I fighting? That's what it's almost to the point now. What's the point? What are you trying to gain? I mean, there's nothing to gain. The rule is the rule. They're not going to break it because you, Kyrie, and
Yeah.
either you want to play or you don't. If you don't want to play, then retire. the
It's that
game,
simple.
the game will still go on. The Nets will still have a team. They still, the game will go on. He's
Yeah.
not bigger than the game, but that's what it seems to me. He's big. In his mind, he's bigger than the game.
Yeah.
And that just, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like sometimes you just gotta, man. I lost. I got my white flag. I do whatever I want. Whatever it takes. I want to play. I want to help
Yeah.
my team and
Yes.
move on. But this
Yeah.
fighting and fighting and fighting and not giving his team an answer, and trying to circumvent this and circumvent that, and at no avail. I mean, come on, man. Let's get the season started with them or without them. That's
Yeah. That's, I mean, that's it, man. That's it. But it is what it is. I think Kyrie, he has to make a decision soon. I think they have a deadline. I think he has to be vaccinated by, if I'm not mistaken. But I mean, I understand where he's coming from. I understand where Wiggins is coming from, but you got to make grown people decisions, man. You
you
do.
do. And then it's there. What didn't they Players Association have this voted on? I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think if he was going to fight, I mean, this a fight that should have been when they implemented the rule, and not when the season's
Mm-hmm.
about to start. I mean, you wanted to advocate not having vaccinations or whatever. And like I say, it's not an NBA thing. It's the New York thing. It's a New York rule.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
don't know what to say, man. I mean, it's like, hey, I don't like paying. Hey, I got trash pickup, and I still have to pay taxes. I
Yeah.
still gotta pay. So the life ain't fair for no one.
Right. Yeah. No. And you have to do what you have to do, man. You got to go along to
Yeah,
get along. I mean, you don't like Wiggins. Wiggins didn't have to do that. None of those, no
none of them.
NFL, NBA, MLB, no matter what it is, whether you work for a corporation, you work for a police department, firefighter, hospital, work in corporate America, whatever, with these mandates, you don't have to do it. You don't.
Yeah, you're
Now,
right.
but if you want to continue to live your life like you've been living it, you're going to have
Yeah,
to make a decision. But
yeah.
you don't have to do anything, you know.
Well, unless he's training to be a commentator, but he's not gonna play for the Nets if he don't take that shot.
Yeah, He
And it's
definitely
just
not.
like,
So
man, there ain't no way he can hold out, wait long, or whatever. But hey, man,
mhm.
I just say, do what you got to do, man. Earn the fans. The fans want to see you play. The Nets need you. Get off
Yep.
the high horse. Do what you got to do to play, man. You're too young to retire. Go ahead and do what you got to do. Don't be Ben Simmons.
Right. Oh man. Speaking of Ben Simmons,
Yeah,
he's a
Ben Simmons.
he's a favorite of the show, ladies and gentlemen. He's a
Yes,
favorite of the
he
show.
is.
We talk about Ben Simmons on a regular basis here. It's reported that him and his camp are shocked that Philly is withholding money.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
are?
yeah.
You're shocked that they're holding their money. You didn't show up. What did you expect them to do, Ben? Of course they were going to hold their money. They drew a line in the sand and they're playing a game of chicken. And currently they're winning. He's the one that's going to jump because they don't have to do anything with him right now.
No,
Just
they
like
don't.
when Kyrie forced his way out of Cleveland, Dan Gilbert punked out.
Yeah,
He could have told Kyrie, say, well, Kyrie, because Kyrie threatened to miss the season because he had a knee injury. And I think he needed to get a procedure on the knee. And so he threatened to get the procedure and pretty much be lost for the season. I like Shannon Sharp so funny. He said, you know what, I would have told Kyrie, okay, you would have been rehabbing at Cleveland Clinic then. Because I'm not taking you nowhere. You're not going anywhere. Like 76ers don't have to move off this, they don't have to budge. If Ben Simmons was my son, friend, and he would came to me for some advice, go to camp.
yeah.
Go to camp, play ball, control what you can control. Hey, if you've been working on the shot, show that you've been working on your shot. I mean, you have to go in and you have to perform.
No
And
question.
so if you go in and you perform, I mean, they're gonna trade you eventually. They said it. They're going to trade you. It's just that they want to get what they want for you, what they feel is fair compensation.
Well, first of all, they put his money in escrow, and basically, it's the money that they're gonna withdraw before his fines when he don't show up, which is smart.
Yeah.
And Ben Simmons is just misguided, man. Um, he don't want to be in Philly. He dictating where he want to play at,
Yep.
and they hit back. They struck back, and they put his 8 million in escrow, and they say if he doesn't show up, they'll be withdrawing each month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. They'll be withdrawing. So I mean, I don't know what Ben's thinking about, man, but hey, it is what it is. He needs to get it together.
well, he doesn't have the leverage. That's obvious. He doesn't have leverage. He ain't dictating to the 76ers. This is what I want. This is the way it's going to be. And the 76ers say, no, no, sir. This is the way it's going to be. That 8 million going in escrow. And if you don't report, we pulling it each day you don't report, which they've been pulling it.
They've been pulling it.
So he got to get it together. I say this about Ben Simmons. Man, it's hard to regard a guy who was an all-star and all that. I wasn't around him in the summertime, but I'm just basing on what we see in the seasons. A guy who didn't spend any time extra to perform at a higher level and was satisfied with his level of play and not improving each year. And if he's like that, he don't love the game that much, then he's got what's coming to him. And that's why his money in escrow. He don't have a team. He'd be sitting home watching NBA TV like the rest of us.
Right.
But he need to get it together, man. He been doing that. Another thing, man, for a guy who was criticized as much as he was in college, one of those, his last year at LSU, the LSU was like picked to be this and that just because of Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons on that team, they went to the tournament and he was a no-show. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And for a guy who even was criticized then of not having an offensive game, And I don't know how many what he's been in years, by 8, 9 years now, and still don't have a game as an offensive game. I mean,
Yeah.
the only one should be faulted is him. You know, hey, all the other guys put extra time in and change their transform their game. Why not Ben? So
Yeah. Why
Ben
not be?
Ben is holding out, and he's probably gonna be somewhere like Timberwolves or the Pelicans or somebody that ain't gonna win or something. I mean, he's gonna be on a team that's barely gonna make the playoffs.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's it. That's it, man. So
I see him in Sacramento somewhere. That's where he's gonna end up at with the Kings
or Cleveland.
or Cleveland. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Or Cleveland. But he, as a young man, control what you can control and go to work.
Yeah, go to work,
Go to work, man.
work on your game, so you won't
Yeah.
be in your situation like this ever again, man. Get a jump shot, stop freezing up in playoff games, turning
Mm-hmm.
down layups, and be a complete player. I mean, how can you be a role model and you go talk to kids and host camps and all that, and then don't have a complete game? That's just, I mean, that's just like I don't know what else to do. I'm a construction worker, but the only thing I know how to do is hit the hammer on the nail.
Yeah. I can't lay bricks. I
Yeah,
can't lay bricks.
can't lay bricks, and that's the only thing. So, what is your value? You're not.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't compared to somebody else can do all three of those jobs. It's
Yeah.
that simple. It's that simple. And if he want to be, if he's serious about his game, if he's serious about being in that league, then be a complete player. If you ain't gonna be a complete player, then that's what's happened. The 76ers got his money in escrow.
Yeah. That's it, man. That is it. That's it, man. So um I think we covered the bases on Mr. Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's see.
Ben. He gonna
Let's
be
see.
with them
Oh,
Timberwolves, man.
the Timberwolves. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and him and Karl Anthony Towns, a dynamic duo.
Yeah, they'd be
Yeah.
30 and 52.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the lotto. That's the lottery team of the century, right there. Them Timberwolves, the Pelicans, and Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So he'd be playing with the kids in college now. That's who he'd be playing with. Them be his teammates for the next
Yep.
5 years. He'll get his money. He won't get many wins.
No. No, he will not get many wins. Let's see. So, I know what the next subject is. NBA rule changes. So I know you saw that, where they will no longer reward abnormal moves from foul hunting stars. And
What's
I think
that?
it's going to make, huh?
What's that?
NBA rule change. They explain. You say referees will no longer reward abnormal moves from foul hunting stars. So hold on, let me see. Let me
Oh, I
see.
thought you were talking about they eliminating the Euro step or something, man.
Oh no, they so basically the one of the most egregious one that they're getting out of the game is when the defender jumps in the air from a ball fake or pump fake,
Yeah,
and you jump into him and throw the ball up and get a foul. I always
yeah,
thought that was
yeah,
the
yeah.
dumbest thing.
Me too, man. Your
So
boy,
that's
on that picture there, he kind of do that a lot too.
oh yeah, that's what Trey Young on here. Trey
Yeah,
Young, Steph Curry, James Harden, you
yeah,
name it, they're the face of this.
yeah.
You know,
Especially James.
yeah. They got one on Steph Curry. Say Steph Curry tried to take advantage of a mismatch on the perimeter in Monday night's preseason game. The two-time NBA MVP created some space against Portland forward Nazir Little and appeared to be in position to shoot a three, but instead he jumped forward to create contact with Little in an attempt to draw a foul. And the broadcaster for the Trailblazers, when they didn't call it, he said, "Not this year."
Well, I gotta give a hand clap to that because I tell you what,
Yeah,
Chris Paul is a good player, but boy, Chris Paul, he takes advantage of that a lot.
a lot, a lot. Yes, he does. They say no call served as a perfect example of foul hunting that the NBA is hoping to eliminate. The league changed its rules ahead of the 21-22 season, in order to discourage offensive players from making overt, abrupt, or abnormal non-basketball moves. Essentially, the NBA referees will no longer reward offensive players who launch themselves into defenders, but how will they know when to blow the whistle? Yeah. They say during an appearance on the NBA crossover show, Monty McCutcheon, the NBA's vice president of referee development and training, told Sports Illustrated Howard Beck that the league knows the teams are always searching for the most efficient way to score. That means plenty of corner three-pointers, layups, and free throws. It's only natural that players will seek out contact, particularly on shots beyond the arc, if they continue to earn trips to the charity stripe. Now the league is incentivizing what McCutcheon calls good play. So if you're placed at a disadvantage through good play, then therefore a foul should be called offensively or defensively. We're not trying to take away every pump fake. We're trying to take away a pump fake that leads to abnormal launch angle that the defender never would have hit the offensive player had the offensive player not taken an abnormal launch angle.
Yeah.
Hey, that makes plenty of sense to me, man. And it's abnormal. It's abnormal for a defender to be up in the air, which if you want to talk about defenseless players, when the defender's up in the air, he's defenseless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
He can't make any moves in the air, and the player jumps straight into him. Yeah. And I always thought that was so dumb. But taking that away from the game is going to improve the game.
Oh, no question, because there's too many of them doing it, and it's just like at the wrong moment of the game. I mean, you be down, last 2-3 minutes of the game, and that's what you see. The guy, and not only that, when they jump in, there's some guys that just is stationary, like he ain't done anything, and he other than raise his hand, and he's in front of him, and the guy jumped right into him. Foul,
foul. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good move. That's long overdue move there, man, because that really done got out of hand. Really.
Yes. Yeah, it has. Yeah, especially like you compare it to flopping.
Yeah,
flopping had got out of hand real bad. Yeah, and they had to fine people for flopping. Yeah, so you need to do this
because they're initiating the contact. It ain't the defender; it's the offensive guy. Every time.
Every time.
Chris Paul did it a lot in the finals, especially in the Western Conference Finals. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah. So I think it's just going to improve the game, man. I think it's time to take it out, and now you won't have that, like you said, those last couple of minutes where guys are just jumping into guys, man. I hate that. Dude, I hate that. A game is pretty much can be pretty much wrapped up, and you get 2 3-point free throws back to back because Steph Curry jumped into the defender. I can't have that.
Hey, Paul George do it a lot.
Yeah.
Chris Paul.
Yeah.
The other Golden State, the Wiggins do it a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. Shoot, Lillard. I don't seen Lillard do it.
Lillard does it. Yeah.
Westbrook does it. Harden does it.
Yeah. Harden and Westbrook. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's just jumping into guys, man. It's I never liked that, but and then this is a way for the defense to take back, some power.
Oh yeah.
Something because from the NFL to the NBA, it's been offense. They've changed rules to incentivize offense because the offense sells the tickets, but like you say, defense wins championships. That's what it is. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's one of the rule changes I wanted to bring up. See what was left. Oh, before we get to the WNBA, we'll finish on the this WNBA story, which was crazy. 18 former NBA players are charged in the $4 million insurance fraud scheme. And this comes a month after 15 ex-NFL players pled guilty over a scheme to steal from a healthcare fund. So basically, they both was defrauding from healthcare funds.
Yeah, defrauding from their own pot.
From their own pot. Yeah, so for the NBA, Glenn Davis, Sebastian Telfair, and Tony Allen were among the players involved in the plot to file millions of dollars worth of fraudulent medical claims. Yeah, say 18 former NBA NBA players have been indicted on charges they participated in a conspiracy to defraud the NBA health care plan. So yeah, it was the NBA health care plan, and they went out to defraud it. Let's see. Let me bring it up.
You say Tony Allen was on that list too?
Yeah, Tony Allen was on the list. Let's see. I'm trying to see who all was on the list. Let's see. Others charged included promising prospects whose careers did not reach the heights that had been expected, including Darius Miles and Sebastian Telfair. He said former players Terrence Williams, played for the Nets and the Rockets, had orchestrated the scheme and recruited other players by offering to supply them with false invoices to support their fraudulent claims. The indictment charges that Mr. Williams also received $230,000 in kickbacks in the scheme. $230,000, like it was $4 million, but only they only ultimately received 2.5 in fraudulent proceeds spread out amongst 18 players. That's like 130 something grand each player. I mean, is that really worth it? Is that really worth your freedom?
Yeah, he recruited players to join in with him.
Yeah. Yes.
Boy, that's not good, man.
No, it's not
Big
good.
Baby Davis and Greg Smith. I remember him with the Rockets.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to see the full list of all 18 players that were involved. Let's see. Some cases, because Sebastian Telfair, Glenn Davis, and Tony Allen headlined it. Of course, they got Darius Miles in here. So okay, yeah. So Terrence Williams, you got Terrence Williams, Allen Anderson, Anthony Allen, Shannon Brown. Oh yeah, Shannon Brown. That was the other one. Played for the Lakers. William Bynum, Melvin Eli, your guy, Christopher Douglas Roberts, Anthony Roden, Milton Palacio, Sebastian Telfair, Antoine Wright, Darius Miles, Ruben Patterson. Man, Ruben Patterson got caught up in this. Eddie Robinson. I remember Eddie Robinson, Gregory Smith, and Glenn Davis, and Jamario Moon.
Man, that's great. Yeah, Ruben Patterson was a good player, man.
Yeah, I remember Ruben Patterson, man. He was a great player. But I mean, this is just like on the other side with the NFL.
He was with Portland. He was the Kobe stopper.
Yeah. Shoot. So now on the other side of this, you got the 15X NFL players headlined by Clinton Portis. When it first dropped, it was Clinton Portis' name was attached. So that's who got all of the pub. But it was up to like 15 players. They say the former players admitted to defrauding the Gene Upshaw NFL Player Health Reimbursement Account Plan, which was created in 2006. The healthcare plan gave tax-free reimbursement to health expenses that weren't covered by insurance for up to $350,000 per player. But the players submitted false claims to the plan and were paid out for expensive medical equipment that they never actually obtained. Prosecutors say Portis got $99,000 in benefits over a 2-month period. Vanover recruited 3 former players and got $159,000 in kickbacks. Robert McCune, let's see, 15 players. What is the list of the players and who all the players that were involved? Because when I saw it, I just thought it was Clinton Portis. Mm-hmm. Oh man, are you that broke? Are you that broke? And you can make an argument that some of them are that broke.
Yeah, because some of them it's just quick, easy money. They thought, and you got this friend who was your teammate call you up. Hey man, I got this, and it's like, well, these guys, I tell you, man, there's no easy way to make money in this world, and especially legally.
Right. You see, oh man, I need to listen
especially to players. For my guy like Melvin Eli. Melvin Eli was a good guy, man. On his car collections and everything. To get caught up in that, man, it's just not good.
No, it's not. It's not, man. But
basically like throwing away a 13, 14-year basketball career down the drain.
Yeah. Yeah, because now the NBA doesn't want any association with you now.
Well, they probably lose the pension that they got. Most of those guys getting a pension. You know,
Yeah,
they've they've been in the league enough to draw a pension, and they were getting that medical insurance for as part of the pension plan. So that's what they were. You know, they were abusing that. But
yeah,
that's just you. I mean, you basically stealing from out of your own cookie jar, which is bad.
it's bad, man. It is
Especially
bad.
like Glenn Davis. I would have think that Glenn Davis had at least earned two or three different contracts. So it wasn't like he
Yeah, he
just was
did.
in the NBA for his first contract, man. And it's like, man, that's another story in itself, man. A lot of these guys have bad investments. I mean, I can remember when Johnson, grandmama, used to play for the Charlotte Hornets, and he bought a
Hmm.
house that had like they had like 8, 9 bathrooms and like 24 rooms, and he couldn't sell it. He went to the Knicks, couldn't sell the house. So basically, when a guy come into Charlotte, that would be like a rental property for somebody, like a big draft pick or somewhere, and it just
Yeah,
passed down from player to player. But if he built the house, he couldn't sell. I mean, he wasn't gonna be in Charlotte his whole life, but
right.
those are some of the mistakes, man. And it seems
Yeah,
like every NBA player now got a house in Southern California.
right. Too the most egregious is the one is Holyfield, and that
Yeah.
monstrosity that
Ah,
he
yeah.
built.
Yeah. In Atlanta area.
Yeah, man. Why'd you need that much space? 150 rooms, bowling alley, movie theaters, a lake shaped like a boxing glove, a pool shaped like a championship belt. I think he might have had his own gas pump on the premises, man. Like
Yeah.
crazy stuff, man.
Yeah. Tax costs more. The taxes on that house cost more than the mortgage.
Right. I mean, I don't even want to know what the homeowners association fees was over there in that area, man. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I bet they were all for that though. The HO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, these players going out disgraced, all because they wanted to get a quick buck and fraud the system. And you got to know that at some point you were going to get caught, man. So, I mean, it is what it is. But
There's no quick money unless you win that lottery. I think they had
yeah,
two or three people won the lottery in Jacksonville.
hey, they say fast money come with slow consequences. They finding that out right now.
Well, when you're dealing with the feds, believe me, they just okay, well, let them run up another. They just
Yep,
let it keep bouncing up so they get more charges.
that's it. Keep racking it up.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the small fish. They didn't want the players.
Nah.
They wanted who was behind it, who was
Yeah.
giving these players this opportunity. And they waited until that person revealed themselves.
Yep.
And then they went and got all the players that were a part of it.
Yeah. They got the ringleader.
Hmm. And this look, both investigations dropped relatively around the same time. The NFL's the last month. This one dropped earlier today. So they've been investigating this for at least 2 years on both cases. Because they said Clinton Portis had got his 100 grand over the last 2 years, and these players have gotten their money over the last 2 years. So I'm like, man. I mean, did they figure is any of these two linked? Like they both knew that hey, you could get money out of your the healthcare fund from the Players Association. Oh, yeah, it's crazy that both these stories dropped, and 15 players in the NFL, 18 in the NBA, a month apart, and all of them are pretty much about to go down. And the ones who ain't got no money going to jail, the ones who got the money to stay out of jail, no, they'll be able to, I guess, stay out.
Yeah, but it's gonna be man. They no telling how many more gonna be in that indictment.
I think it's more. I think it's just tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. That is,
Hmm. But yeah, but yeah, Oh, you plug? Oh, okay. Let's see. What is next? Let's see. All right, last story. All right, but yeah, so we'll put a pin in that there, and we'll go to this last story, which was crazy. Um, Atlanta Dream player, she's All-Star Courtney Williams and Crystal Bradford will not be re-signing with the team under any circumstance, as reported by their owner. The co-owner Renee Montgomery said that because Courtney Williams and Crystal Bradford were in a brawl outside of they were at like a food truck in Atlanta, and they got into a brawl with some other ladies. And looking at the video, they were brawling like nobody. It wasn't very gruesome, but they were fighting. They were throwing hands, and this happened back in May. So let's see. I'm gonna stop sharing. Go back to the screen. Back in May, it happened. They found out about it, but they didn't know the extent of it. They said they had only seen about a 15-second video of it, but it's like a minute 40. And so there was no punishment really handed down. So they say Courtney Williams thought that she pretty much got away with it. They didn't care about it. It wasn't no big deal. So tell me why. Just the other day, she posted the video on her YouTube. And not only did she post the video on her YouTube of her getting into this brawl, she did commentary on it, laughing about it.
Oh man, that's not good, man.
It's not. I'm like, what were you thinking about? And so the owners didn't know the extent of it until she put the video out. And once they saw the video, she said the league investigating the circumstances. This is Renee Montgomery, the co-owner of the Atlanta Dream. He said this is a tough situation for everyone involved. No one feels good or happy about what transpired, said Montgomery, who was working as an analyst with ESPN during the playoffs. Saying, I know a lot of people want information, but right now the league is involved. We're dealing with the process that's going to involve the league and the WNBPA. So we have to respect that. Well, let me reshare it because I'm not going to show the video here because the YouTube don't like fight videos, even though there's plenty of them on YouTube, which is crazy. They'll flag me for showing it. Let's see. The player's agent Marcus Crishaw said Tuesday that the Dream told him that neither player would return to the team next season. He said they are unrestricted free agents. He said this team knew about the situation months ago. Right now, the team is trying to act like they have the morals and they are making the players some sort of scapegoats by saying they got put off the Dream because of the altercation. Now, I will agree with this though. Now they saying that they didn't know. The agent is saying that they knew the extent of it. It wasn't until she put it out. Now, whether they knew or not, I don't care about that. It's the fact that she put it on YouTube and did commentary to it and laughing about it. That was the most egregious part of this. That's why she no longer has a job with the Dream. 16 points per game. She was an all-star. Bradford, who pretty much didn't do this, she did this. She doesn't have a job because she was in the video. So you and your teammate lost your job because you want to chase clout on YouTube and joke about the situation. He said, we saw a clip in May that was 10 to 15 seconds long with no context. He said, and he talked to the players involved and they told us that they assured us that it was in self-defense. So we want to believe our players. So we chose to believe our players and ultimately didn't have any disciplinary actions. Now, from the video I saw, you go find the video. It's everywhere now. From the video that I saw, it looks like they were minding their business and the girls started yapping and somebody swung. She swung back and then that's when the brawl happened. And it was self-defense. But at no point should you do what she did. It doesn't make any sense, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but the world get crazy about a day out this thing.
Yeah.
In front of a food truck.
In front of a food truck. I mean, they brawling. One of the girls, I mean, she got I'm talking about the whole all knuckles cross the eyes. I mean, just girl in the face. I said, man, and she kept coming back for more. I mean, nobody got knocked out, hit the ground. Everybody who got punched came back for more. And it wasn't until they kind of broke it up that it ended. Everybody wanted more. People get punched in the face coming back for more. I've never seen that before.
Our world, man. That's my comment. Our world. I thought you was gonna have something WNBA on the Sky, man. I watched a little bit of the Sky.
Oh yeah. Man, Candace Parker, man. I'm happy for her. You know, the Sparks let her go, and now she's with the Sky, and she's going back to the finals. You know, her and Taurasi. Now she got to see Brittany Griner. This is the only thing. She got to see Brittany Griner.
Oh man, that's who they got to face.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. That's going to be interesting.
I watched a little bit of that game last night. Connecticut didn't have the answers, man.
No. And what's that? Taurasi? She's 19 years in?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Still playing ball. Still giving these chicks buckets out here. Yeah. Her, Candace, they're some of the most decorated WNBA players in the history of the game. You know?
Candace looked like she's about 6'10", man.
That's a tall girl. Yeah. So, but no, that story overshadowed because they had the story of them going to the finals, and then right above that they had this story, and I said, man, this is like Urban Meyer and them. You supposed to be talking about Jags versus Titans? Nah, let's talk about Urban on this stool, with this young girl.
So what they're fighting for? Who got the wings off the truck?
That's what I'm guessing, man. I don't know what the squabble was about.
She bought the final wings and ate it in front of her or something, man. That's what it sounds like.
Hey, and the people in the food truck, dude, they closed down their window and they stayed on the truck, man. They ain't come out. They ain't nothing, man. They was like, yo, y'all got to get away from here with that.
That was a bad fight, man.
Yeah. And it was all the ladies in there. It was about 15 of them. And they're just brawling.
Oh, I missed. In Atlanta.
Yeah. In Atlanta. I said, dude, I haven't seen a brawl like that since like high school girls, man. Never seen grown women fight like that outside of a food truck. They look like men out there slugging each other in the face.
Taking at that. Yes, indeed.
It's craziness, man. But I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else, man. I think we covered all the bases. We needed this, man. After missing last week, needed this. Yeah, we needed this come in.
Good Lord, I tell you what, though, man. Final commentary, man. I almost to the point I don't know what's going to be. I mean, you can't predict sports anymore, man. It's just always something out off in left field that come out. I mean, I never would predict that 4 weeks into the season, this guy, Urban
trade
job might be in jeopardy. He's a distraction during the week that they play the Titans, and it's crazy, man. I mean, that's about the only word you can say, and it's gonna get crazier rather.
Yeah, because it doesn't get easier from here.
No, sir,
it doesn't. No, it gets much tougher from here. Shout out to Trey Pender, Nesco's son. I see you, big bro. Hey, I see you, little bro. He doing big things. I got to see the music video that he was in, man. He about to blow up in music, man. That kid can sing, man.
So what did he go to A&M?
I think so. Yeah, he's in Tallahassee. Yeah, he's in at A&M. Yeah,
with them
gotta be careful. Yeah, he said, got to be careful when you black and on those platforms. Yeah, you do, because you're not given grace and leeway like your counterparts. So, hey, you got to be on your P's and Q's, man. But
you just got to be professional, man. You just got to handle your business. Don't be outcast, even though the group was good, but don't be an outcast, man. It ain't worth it. You know, I mean, we all can't be like Urban Meyer. We get in that situation, man, we won't have a job. So, and that's being real.
That's it, man. So, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hey, this was a good show today. I needed this, man. I needed this. Hey, man, I will be back at it tomorrow. I think tomorrow 8:30 we're going live. Me, Vince Kander, and Brian Boyd. We got a controversial topic tomorrow, man.
What is it, man?
The topic is going to be about protecting Black women, and I think it's going to get a little interesting because we're going to bring some. We're going to have a couple people come on the platform. We're going to have some women come on. If they agree to come on, we're going to have them as well, and we're just going to talk about it and talk it out. About the whole thing of protect Black women. On the surface, it seems like a no-brainer. Yes, we need to protect the women in our community. Of course, yeah. No one's going to object to that. But when you peel back the layers, it seems like they want a blind guard dog. They want you to be Batman. They want to flash a symbol in the sky, say, hey, this person did this, go get them, without you saying anything about it. And like I'm going to say tomorrow on the show, there's no protection without correction. Because if you call the police 3 straight times for the same situation, at a certain point, aren't the police going to question you? Say, "Hey, why are you keep putting in this situation? Why do we have to keep coming here and you keep having the same issue? What are you doing? You need to take preventative measures not to be put in this situation, so we won't have to come out here." But they don't want Black men to say that. They just want you to do. Don't talk, just do. And so we're gonna break that down right there. That's gonna be one, ain't it?
You gotta have love in the world. You gotta have love. Stop this hating, man.
Hey,
that's what it is. Get back them love songs on the radio. What is the radio station here? 93.3. Get them love songs. People gotta start writing songs, man. Stop making these rap songs that it take 6 hours to produce and put them on and try to make money and make out some long that take time to write stories and make them songs back.
Hey, and half those songs are just the beats are good. The lyrics are trash. For a lot of them, it's just the beat and the production. That's all.
Yeah, they got to get back to the old school, man. When it comes to that stuff, there's too much hate in the world, man.
It is, man. So we're gonna break that down. I hope the ladies come with the smoke because I am ready.
You ready, man? Let me see that Jaguar, man.
Oh man, you see it? You see it? We're gonna dub these. I'm gonna get me another shirt and I'm gonna put Urban's drunk face on it. We're gonna be the Jacksonville Urbans. We're gonna be the Jacksonville Urbans, man. Hey, I saw on Twitter. I gotta find this on Twitter. Where the guy they were talking about Urban Meyer, and the guy he was so silly, and they were talking about him doing this to get to the USC job, and somebody had a quote that was hilarious to me, man. Let me see. Let me see if I can find
like the exit plan.
yeah, basically his exit plan. I mean that thing was so funny to me. Let's see, where is this at? Let's see. Somebody talking about Urban Meyer fits the MAGA profile to a T. Oh my goodness, they were killing him. Yeah, I think somebody they quoted scripture when they was talking about him, man. Where's this thing at? Because I liked it, so I will have it. Let's see, where are we? Oh yeah, I seen what you say. Trevor Lawrence on Meyer. He's still my coach, and I respect him. I mean, Trevor has said all the right things throughout this whole thing, man. I mean, this kid has been put into a no-win situation right now, and I mean, he's trying to keep his head above water while figuring out the league. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, because he knows he's gonna be here the longest.
Yeah, he does. He knows that he's gonna. Yeah, he knows he's gonna be here for a while.
But he's a true professional, man. And even he said he had, everything went all right at his bachelor party in Vegas, man.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I heard he got they said something about him getting a foot warmer, and he got something else at somebody's bachelor party.
For his birthday. Yep.
Yeah, for his birthday. Yeah. Oh man, I can't find that. Because it said something about like thou shalt let young girls grind on you to get to USC, Urban 316 or something like that.
Oh man.
It's just a craziness, man. Oh, I can't find it. But hey, it is what it is, man. But
Yeah, he put himself out there as a target, man.
yeah, he did. I'm still baffled. Every time I see the story, every time I see somebody talk about it, I can't believe that actually happened and he actually did it. Like,
You know what's gonna be even more crazy when they take the first road trip. Probably not London, but when they take a first road trip, imagine what kind of signs might be out there for the fans.
oh my goodness, yeah, yeah. What kind of sign will be out there for the fans? You're right. Yeah, they're gonna clown him, man.
Yeah, they're gonna be like that for the rest of the season. Got to make smart moves, man, not dumb
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. I found it. It's a thou shall let the girl grind on you to get to USC. Urban 316.
Yeah, he'd be a controversial hire there if they was to hire him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think anybody's gonna touch him right now. For now, I
No.
think he loses his job today. He's gonna be out of football for a little bit. I'll be
Yeah,
very surprised if a team wants to take on that PR nightmare.
yeah.
But after a year or so, like say the rest of he gets fired today, and the rest of the season plays out, I wouldn't be shocked if he has another job, college job, going in the next season.
No, I wouldn't be shocked either. I think it would. Shoot, you talking about next football season? If he was to
Mm-hmm.
get, yeah, I wouldn't be shocked either. I mean, even if it's Nebraska or somebody, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to have a job. They say 85% of Power Five schools will not offer him a job right now, which means 15% would,
Yeah,
and you only
15%.
need one.
Yep. And then you got to look at what conference. So,
Mm-hmm.
man, a Big Ten school, all we know it could be an SEC school will gobble them up. Who
Yeah,
knows? Florida State, if something happened to them, they might gobble them up.
yeah. Shoot, imagine Urban in Florida State or Miami. I mean,
Yeah,
especially Miami,
Miami.
they're
Yeah.
back. I mean, he can turn around both teams in
Oh
a
no,
short period
no
of
question.
time.
No question. Especially
Yeah,
Miami, man.
yeah, yeah. All you have to do is keep the talent in state.
Yep.
Recruit Florida. If
Well, you got
Miami can keep Florida players in Florida, they're fine.
well, they can keep players from Fort Lauderdale down. Hey, they'll
Yeah,
win.
yeah,
They
you
keep
win.
the South Florida talent in at Miami, they'll win. That's what they used to do.
Yeah, yeah. But now those guys are leaving and going all over the country, man. You got to compete with the Alabamas and
Yeah.
Ohio States and Clemson's now. Well,
Urban Meyer go to Miami. They have a on-campus stadium and new facilities.
mm-hmm. Same with Florida State. Florida State to be is a blue chip job. Yeah, he could turn that around relatively quickly as well, man. But yeah, man, it is what it is, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're gonna wrap it up here. Make sure y'all follow me on all my social medias. I'll be back tomorrow with another live stream. Make sure you tune in for that. And we're inviting people on. Anybody want to come on? Because we're talking about protecting Black women, and we're gonna have some views that some people gonna like, some people might not like. So I'm not. I don't pander and I don't kowtow. So and I'm gonna speak my opinion. So you want to see it? Be there for that. Make sure y'all follow Mr. Reid on all his social media. Follow him on Twitter, Jacksonville.com, Florida Times Union. Man, I appreciate you for coming on.
Hey, no problem, man. I enjoyed it. This was it was like barbershop talk all the way.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So, but until next time, people, I will talk to y'all later, man. Peace out.